Today I'm going to be showing you how to make snow globe cupcakes, and I originally learned how to make the globes from Karen T's snow globe cookie video, which was super helpful, so make sure you go and check out her channel as well. You're going to start with 9-inch latex balloons and you're going to fill them up with water. You want them to be about the size of the palm of your hand. So go ahead and remove the balloon, and you're going to let out the little pocket of air at the top of the balloon, and then you're going to squeeze out some of that extra water if you did fill it a little too much. And then you're going to see that it looks like a bulb shape right now, and what we want is for that balloon to be as perfect of a sphere as we can get it. So you're going to use your fingers to kind of push the water down into the balloon, and then you're going to go ahead and tie a knot. And you're going to want to do this about 3 times. So you're going to push the water back down into the balloon, tie another knot, and this is just making it so that we're getting rid of kind of that empty space at the top and filling in more of the space on the bottom. And that's what's going to make it look more like a perfect ball. And so it should look something like this when you're done. Now we're going to go and wash the balloons. A lot of balloons kind of have a powder residue on them, so I always wash the outside of them really well and make sure I rinse it off and just dry it with a paper towel before I actually start working with them and food. Now you're going to want to get a plate and put 3 shot glasses on it, and you're just going to set the balloons on top of those glasses. Okay, now we're going to make our sugar mixture, which is going to consist of sugar, corn syrup, and water. So you're going to want to do 300 grams of sugar, and then you're going to want to add 75 milliliters of water. This is about half a cup, but I would definitely suggest having a kitchen scale just to make it more accurate. And then you're going to want to add 200 grams of corn syrup. You're now going to mix all of that together with a silicone spatula, and you're going to want to put it on high heat. You want to make sure that you have a thermometer because it's really important that you get the correct temperature on this for it to work correctly. And you're going to boil this until it reaches 290 degrees. You're going to remove it from heat and wait for all the bubbles to go down before you start to dip your balloons. So you're going to tilt the pot on its side a little bit, and you're going to start dipping your balloon. You want to make sure that you cover almost all your balloon except for about 1 inch from the tie to have that little opening for the snow globe. Be really careful while doing this because, again, it's extremely hot and it's really easy to get your fingers caught. You're then going to lift the balloon out of the pot, and you're just going to dangle it above to get all of that excess sugar off of there. It's just going to continue to drip, and you're going to see that it will start to get stringy at some point and a little hard. You're going to take your finger and you're going to kind of push in the bottom of the balloon to get rid of that little drip so that it makes it a perfect circle and there's no little spike coming off the top of your snow globe. Before doing your other balloons, I do suggest putting the sugar mixture back on high heat until it starts bubbling, wait for it to stop, and then do your second balloon. This just helps it so that the sugar mixture doesn't dry too fast. You're actually able to do the rest of your balloons. You're going to hold your balloon in the air just a little bit longer until it has a hard shell, and then you're going to go ahead and place it on top of your shot glasses so that you can continue to do the rest of your balloons. After about 5 minutes, you're going to want to get a pair of scissors and cut a very small hole in the top of your balloon. You don't want to cut it too big because if the water releases too fast, you risk cracking your shell. So you're going to want to make just a small hole, and you're going to slowly drain the water out of your balloon. It might get stuck on the inside the balloon. Just really carefully reach in there and kind of peel it off that side. You don't want to pull on it too hard and rip it out because, again, it could crack that shell. Ignore me accidentally spraying myself in the face with the balloon, and then you're going to drain the water out of it. But if you can see here, it's kind of cloudy. There's a few spots on it. So what you want to do is take some warm water and actually put it inside that globe, and you're just going to turn the globe all around. Make sure you do this with dry hands because you don't want to get the outside sticky, but you just want to keep turning that globe, and it'll kind of fill in all the crevices with that warm water and just make it a lot more clear. If you do a balloon and you didn't get the opening quite right and it's not sitting up on its own, what you can do is put hot water on a plate and then put the globe on top of it and move it around in a circle a little bit. This will kind of melt that sugar and make it more of a stable opening so that that globe can sit upright on its own. Now you're just going to take your globes and put them in a container. I would recommend wearing gloves while doing this to avoid fingerprints. Now we're going to move on to the cupcake decorating. So I have a tip 10 in black. I'm going to use a tip 3 in this orange color, a tip 2 in this dark brown. I'm going to use a tip 46 in this red color, a tip 32 in this holly green, and then a tip 10 in this natural buttercream. I also have a tip 2 that I'm going to be using with the black color as well. I have an assortment of sprinkles here for decorating. You do not need these are totally optional. You're going to start by just flat icing your cupcake with regular white buttercream. And before you start with any decorations, you're going to want to take one of your globes and you're going to want to press it on top of the cupcake. And what this does is it's just going to put a little indentation into it, and you'll know what room you'll have for the inside design. If you're using sprinkles, I'd recommend putting it in a little ramekin dish, these little white ones, and just dipping your cupcake into it. And these just kind of give it more of a snow globe effect with the little white pieces of snow at the base. We're then going to start piping our snowman. So you're going to take that tip number 10 in the natural buttercream, and you're going to tip a big dome at the bottom and then a medium dome on top of that. It's going to look like this. You're then going to take your number 46 tip in red, and you're going to make just this little loop. So this is going to be the scarf of the snowman. You just want to slowly come around and just make a tiny loop on there. And I love this tip because it gives that kind of fabric texture. You're then going to grab your number 10 tip again, and you're going to put another little dome on top of that scarf for the head, and you can use your finger to gently press it down. You're now going to use your number 10 tip in black, and you're going to pipe kind of just like a little disc on top of the snowman's head. And you're going to want to stick this into the fridge for about a minute, and this just allows you to easily press this down into more of a disc shape. You're then going to use your tip number 10, and you're going to make kind of just like a little dome on top of the disc that we already made, and then you're going to stick it in the fridge for 1 minute, and that way when you take it out, it'll be easier to press that top down and turn it from a witch's hat into a top hat. You're now going to use that same black color, but you're going to use a tip number 2, and you're going to use that to make the eyes, and then you'll also use it to make the mouth. And then you're going to use it as well to make the little buttons on the front of the snowman. I would apply a little more pressure when making the buttons on the bottom of the snowman just to make them a little bit bigger than the eyes and mouth. But again, creative freedom, totally up to you on what you want to do. We're now going to use our number 3 tip in orange, and we're going to use it to make just a little bit of a carrot nose. So just squeeze on there and kind of release pressure as you pull out, and you'll have your nose. You're then going to take a tip 2 in that darker brown color, and you're going to use this to make the stick arm. So I just did 1 little line down and then 3 little lines at the end to do those. And you can use a thinner or a thicker tip, but this is just what I thought looked proportionate for the snowman that I made. Now you're going to use a tip 32 in green, and you're just going to do 1 like big dome on the bottom, and then 1 that's a little bit smaller on top, and then another 1 that's a little bit smaller on top, and then the smallest one on the very top. And that's just how you're going to make your Christmas tree. Now this is where the sprinkles come in. So I have this little sprinkle grabber. It was like $5 on Amazon, and I use this for a lot of stuff. If you don't have that, you can always just dip the tree in sprinkles or decorate it with buttercream, however you want. Now that wraps up the interior decorations. So what you're going to want to do is I'd suggest wearing a pair of gloves to avoid getting fingerprints on the globe. But you want to grab your globe and you want to take it and you want to very slowly and carefully put it over your decorations. Be very careful. You don't want to accidentally take your decorations off with this, and you just want to press that globe firmly down into the cupcake to make sure it stays. We're now going to do the border at the base of the snow globe. So you're going to want to take that same tip you used for the green, which is a 32, and you're going to use red. And you're going to go ahead and just pipe these little like shell kind of border. And you want to start on the back because when you end, you don't want the tail visible in the front. So you're just going to go ahead and just continue to pipe these little shells. You go on the base, you pull out a little bit, and then just go forward. And you can do whatever design you want around the base of yours, obviously. I just thought that this was super cute and kind of had a little bit of a 90s vibe. And then you're going to take that same tip that you just used. And again, you want to start on the back so that when you end, it's on the back and you can't see it from the front. And I just went around and just did one solid line all the way around the cupcake. And this just kind of ties that globe and cupcake together without showing any of that flat icing that we did earlier. And it kind of just gives it a more complete and finished look. And that is it. That is our finished globe cupcake. Thank you guys so much for watching and for all your comments on the photos I posted. I really hope you decide to make these, and if you do, definitely comment. Let me know how they turned out, and if you need any troubleshooting help, just go ahead and comment. Thanks for watching.